Maybe Bumrah should be the face of the 100, right, in England. I think the infamous, famous 10 ball over spell. I think I heard about how the 100 has a 10 ball over as well. Or at
ICC,
least gives.
England Cricket Board, are you listening? Narayanan has a good suggestion here. You're right, Narayanan. Hello and welcome, everybody. My name's Dev. I'm your host of yet another episode with Uncommentary. And with me, as usual, is Narayanan, who's got a valid point. Please, Narayanan, explain that.
It's just a cheeky dig about how I believe Jasprit Bumrah can be the face of the English 100 tournament moving forward after his famous or 10 ball over to Jimmy Anderson at Lord's.
Yep, just like Virat Kohli can be the next face of the Nobel Prize Award in cricket.
Oh, please, let's hope that whatever we discussed doesn't actually come true, but yeah.
Absolutely.
No, but seriously, on a serious note, I think the 100 has a 10 ball, I think 10 ball spell, or I wouldn't call it an over, but yeah, it does something of this, I believe.
Yeah, they've tweaked the rules quite a bit. So instead of T20, which has 120 balls, they've reduced it to 100 ball inning, and you can bowl 10 balls at a stretch. Then you can chop and switch. I don't know. It is really crazy for me. From Test cricket to one days to T20, this is what we've gone into. I think that people need some time to think, to first absorb what is going on in England right now between India and England. India is going in really strong with a large heart into Headingley, and they'll be pretty confident, Narayanan. What do you think?
Can't agree more, Dave. To be honest, I think the momentum is with India. People do say that I think England are lucky to have the 1 week break before the start of the third test as well. But I believe England from the start of the series with their chopping and changing and rotational policy of the squads, I don't think they themselves know which is the right combination. And secondly, which is the biggest factor, is there is no red ball cricket being played in England. There is no domestic red ball cricket season. I mean, they replaced that with the 100 right now. So it's completely white ball series. To be honest, it's the red ball season cricket matches have gone into the back burner where very few matches are happening presently across England. So if you are going to choose players from whom have to come into the squad, uh, seeing their expertise, they haven't played much lately. And that is where the questions do arise that if you're going to get in a few players, which look certain for the upcoming test starting tomorrow, the third one at Headingley, do they even seem confident enough to face this Indian team? That is the biggest question.
That's for England. And what about the Indian team? They'll be walking into this match thinking this is theirs. And Headingley has been a good hunting ground for India in the past as well.
Yeah, we have had 2 wins, 1986 and 2002. So 2 wins in Headingley for India. And the last time I think we played, we scored some mammoth 600 plus with centuries from Dravid, Tendulkar and Dada.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that was a huge
I would take anyone scoring a century from this present lot because our batting is still shaky. It is not the right strong batting lineup that we used to watching India in the earlier years. But I would take anyone scoring a century at Headingley. And I haven't seen any pictures of the pitch as yet, so it will be too early to call. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kohli walks into the Headingley test retaining the exact same team as Lords. But I think if it's a dry pitch, similar to what Lords has offered, I think you could see only one change, which would be Ishant missing out and Ashwin walking in.
Yeah, I thought of the same, Ishant being replaced by Ashwin, but that too, if and only if it is a spin-friendly track. Traditionally, which doesn't seem to look like that. I think it is more on the seaming side. But what I take from this is, in general, it has been a
Oh,
good
have they released the
true sport.
pictures? I have not seen the pictures.
No, as in, I'm just talking about historically. So it usually is a good true pitch. And I've in the past, going back to 2002, you saw Kumble would take wickets back then, but that was like a century ago. We are talking about recent past and what the pitch looks like. So it'll be an interesting decision for Virat Kohli. So you reckon he might stick to the same playing 11 that he played at Lord's?
It looks a high probability, but I do believe that Ashwin does deserve a chance in this team. And maybe if you just happen to see one change, it would be Ashwin coming in place of Isham. More so because to also cover up for the overrates. You do need it. It has been 2 tests where one test we have been docked 2 points. The second test we were lucky to not have been docked points, but I think we wouldn't want to push our luck. I think that is where having Ashwin in the squad makes a huge difference by way of experience with the ball, Jaddu giving him the support, and our 3 quicks of Bumrah, Shami, and Siraj.
Absolutely. And imagine world number 1 sitting out, missing out because they can't fit him. Awesome.
Yeah, that's how the team is right now. And even with the lower order batsmen now swinging their bat and getting some useful runs, only time will tell.
Yeah, it's tough to be in Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri's shoes at the moment. It's a tough call for them who to play, who to miss out, and to give the best playing 11 to field in this game. So I hope that answers your question, Mrugesh and Harish. So we went back to our previous episode where my friends had asked this question, who do you think will be playing? So this is what we feel. And hopefully Virat Kohli comes up with a good decision.
Oh, I believe even Saurabh had asked the question, right?
Saurabh as well. Yeah. So there you go, Saurabh. That's an answer for you as well. Coming to England, we've spoken about them chopping and changing their batting order and bowlers. Jofra Archer, with his injury, England are missing him a lot, I believe. And what would be your probable 11 if you could pick any? Let's start with the batsman first.
So I see maybe Hamid going up to the opening spot and joining Rory Burns, and then Malan coming in at 3.
It was an interesting decision to leave him out, isn't it?
Who?
David Malan.
Yeah, so apparently he's not had much of the luck with the captain recently, right? He's been trying to, he has been not given preference in the test team, but he's been told that he can look at coming into the side in the T20 format. And when he does focus on the T20 side, you could see there are not many good performances apart from the odd one here and there. So he has been given more of a better run in the T20 side than the test. But yeah, I kind of personally like him as a batsman with his technique. And I'm happy that he's come into this test team. And for them, they do require someone who can maybe, they do require someone who has to perform right now. I mean, they put too much of onus on Joe Root on the batting side, and you could see how when 2 sessions or just short of 2 sessions, they had to last themselves about 60 overs. They kind of struggled. It had more to do with the animosity, the banter, and everything that goes along with it on the final day of the test match. But you can see that if you really put a team under pressure, you can literally have them on the ropes. And even Trent Bridge, if you look at how Root had scored a half century and 100. And in spite of all that, we only had to chase about 160 on the final day. In this test match as well, Root batted 180 not out, and still they ended up losing the match. So where does this stop? Do they have anyone apart from Root who can literally give him the support and take them forward? And right now, everyone's confidence is in the lowest point, right? Because no one is getting the runs. A very interesting stat which I came about, Dave, is Joe Root in this calendar year until August has scored about 1,200 runs for England.
Yep.
The second best for them is Rory Burns at about 343.
And out of that, I believe he had a double century.
Yeah, it's still, that's how it adds up 1,200 in the first 8 months of the calendar year. This difference of 900 apparently is also the record for being the highest gap between the two highest scorers of the team in the same calendar year.
Wow, that's an amazing stat. Well done, Narayanan. So yes,
I did happen to get this from a very astute cricket statistician, but it was an eye opener to see that your second highest scorer is at 300 odd for the first 8 months, which just shows how poor their batting has been for this entire year.
Yeah. So I work in sort of marketing and sales, and we have monthly targets. So some months you're not going well, and your best performer will be at 100 products sold, whereas the next best would be 35. So it reminds me kind of that. And as you rightly said, it'll be a very a mammoth task for England to come out of that defeat. The confidence, the morale will be really low. And this 8-day break would have given them an opportunity to introspect, to come out, to just go out, not play cricket, go into the open, look at the world around, do some sightseeing, gather your thoughts again, and come back to practice and implement and think about what went wrong and what can be corrected, especially with the batting order, that collapse that they had in just under 2 sessions. They were all bowled out. And I came across I'm not 100% sure if that was an actual clip, but there's a clip that is doing rounds of social media where Virat is heard saying to the team, I don't want anybody smiling. You have to go full-blown attack on them. No smiles. Give your best straight poker face to them. So that was the strategy that they were going in with after England attacked the Indian lower order. I think that's when they gathered, all of them gathered 11 together and pounced back on the English.
England
coming up.
England will have to bring something out. They have to attack. I mean, they do realize that, all those banters and sledging is not going to matter. Yeah. They literally have to they need at least 2 or 3 standout performers in this test for them to at least get a win. Otherwise, I feel, I have to be honest, I don't even see it as a draw unless the pitch turns out to be a belter of a track. I don't even see that as a draw. I think
there should be a result.
There will be a result, yeah. And it looks more in the favor of the Indians, considering how it's just a manner of the defeat. Right? Can you can't forget something like this as easily and still,
something like the 36.
Yeah, true. I mean, I do understand that 8-day break and everything helps, but it's just the manner of the defeat. And if you remember, Dave, just before the start of the England tour to India, like late last year, early this year. I'm losing track. Yeah, I'm losing track of time. But yeah, early this year, I did question, why is the captain and the coach should also be part of the rotational policy, isn't it? Why is it that only the others get a chance? And I do believe
if they keep Joe Root out, would be their best, next
It's
best
not. It's
batsman?
not about
300.
kicking Joe. It's not about kicking Joe Root out.
No,
I think
yeah,
Joe Root as a
I'm not saying
captain should be
keeping.
really looked at about
Hmm.
what he's just shown himself to be so vulnerable to fall into a trap of something as
Get
cheeky or minuscule as this. It just shows with even in spite of having all the senior players around you. Yeah, England could crib about how they were missing Stokes, they were missing Archer, they were missing Oliver Stone. Their base attack is not that great. Yeah, but you had Anderson, you had Butler, you had Bairstow, you had Moeen
exactly.
Ali. These all four are so senior, and he also takes a break and goes into the dressing room. So what were you thinking back then over there?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. So a senior bloke like Anderson, who's got 600 wickets to his belt, he gets sucked into this no-brainer banter or sledging competition from somebody who's as junior as Bumrah to him, and he gets sucked into that. Now, come on, give me a break. You have your brain. You've been the best bowler for England for decades. And you have Butler, right? As you rightly said, Moeen Ali, who's one of the calmest guys in the English cricket team. They could have, harbored around Joe Root and told him, bro, this isn't what we are getting into. Just let's stop it. But I think somewhere it became a matter of ego of an individual. That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
You should have kept the teams and the national interest above your personal interest. Good points that you've come up with in terms of the strategy that would be, the team combination, and what confidence level both the teams would look like. Your predictions, if you had to pick one as the favorites of this game, of this match, I mean.
So I believe England going with two changes, Malan coming in at 3 and Overton coming in place of Mark Wood, who is definitely not going to be playing this match. And seeing India's squad of possible no change or maximum one change of Ashwin coming in, which I think, this is just my personal opinion, I'm going to go with India as hot favorites for the Leeds Headingley Test.
Yeah. I believe for me as well, India is favorite in the Headingley Test. Interesting contest. Now that England have regrouped, will they savage their pride? Will they come up as the Roaring Lions, the 3 lions on their tag, on their crest? Or will the Indian sun shine in London, in Headingley?
Weather seems to be good as well for tomorrow.
Absolutely. We hope we get a good cracker of a match. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
Good night.